What's going on, Houston Rockets fans all over the world, from Houston to Lithuania, no matter where you are? My name is David Delano, and this is Rockets Daily, brought to you by FanArt. You guys can follow me at Get Sports Strong as well on Instagram, along with on X. Goal here is simple: bring you the best Houston Rockets content that we possibly can. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Summer League in particular, what we've seen so far. Rockets also, Summer League matchup going up against the Atlanta Hawks on Monday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3:30 if you're in Houston, Texas. So we're going to be taking a look at that and talking about what we've seen so far. As always, make sure to chime in with the comments because I'm just one man. I'm looking at what I'm seeing, trying to come up with my own opinion, watching the game and assessments for myself before I look at some of the other things that people are saying. But I definitely want to hear from you guys, your comments, what you're seeing from these players in the Summer League, any observations, insight, whether you agree, disagree. Welcome all perspectives because I want to know what you guys are seeing as well. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe to this channel as well. Help us grow and be notified every time we drop a video. So, recording this on Sunday night, Rockets took a loss to the Detroit Pistons in the second game of the Summer League, 98-83. This was following up on an opening loss to the Los Angeles Clippers, 95-92 in the opening game, which saw the Rockets fight back to give themselves a chance to try to tie the game with a three-pointer on Friday night, but could not get the ball inbounds, could not get the ball to Reed Shepherd or anybody, and took the loss in that one. But it was nice to see the team fight back and have a chance, at least in the final seconds. And Sunday's game against the Pistons was quite a bit uglier. So let me know some of your thoughts so far. Some things for me personally one thing to kind of mention, Nate Williams, who was a part of this team last season, not going to be a part of the team going forward. So Rockets show they were not messing around after that loss to the Clippers. Nate Williams went 0 for 7 from three-point range. He got to play a lot, got to play 31 minutes, went 4 for 15 from the floor, had 5 turnovers, 8 points, and the Rockets parted ways with him after that game and decided to actually sign undrafted rookie Cameron Matthews to a non-guaranteed 1-year contract after that game. So we saw a little bit of a change in the starting lineup against the Pistons with Nate no longer on the team. We saw Kennedy Chandler move in to the starting lineup after scoring 22 points off of the bench, going 7 for 14 from the floor in the opening loss. Played against the Detroit Pistons as well. And in that game, as a starting, Chandler scored 13 points, went 5 for 14 from the field. Overall, Summer League, but three-point shooting was horrific against the Pistons. Rockets went 3 for 21 as a team, which even includes Reed Shepherd, who went 1 for 17. Sorry, went 1 for 7 from three-point range after going 6 for 15 in the opener. And so far, what we've seen, Reed Shepherd, the biggest story coming into this Summer League, and you see it so far throughout the first 2 games. Opposing teams are focusing on him, getting a lot of the broadcasters are talking about him, getting most of the minutes. The ball's in his hand the majority of the time. First game against the Los Angeles Clippers, 28 points, 10 for 25 from the floor, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, 3 blocks, just 3 turnovers. Still a plus-minus of -4. There's a lot to be excited about with Reed Shepherd. Watch the second game here. Just as far as overall on paper, 6 for 19 from the floor. Mentioned 1 for 7 for 3. He had 18 points, but 6 turnovers, committed 4 fouls, did have 4 steals. So, numbers aside, just as far as what I'm seeing from Reed Sheppard so far, keeping in mind, young man who just recently turned 21 years old. Obviously the potential's there for the future with Reed Sheppard long term. Do have some concerns as far as how much more he's going to be able to contribute this season. In the perfect world, and this is no knock on Fred VanVleet, but it would be nice if Reed was someone who could take that step and even exceed where Fred is right now and play a bigger role on this team next season as we're playing for a championship. Reed is, I mean, it's a lot of things to be excited about. Obviously, when he's open, when he gets those good looks, strong 3-point shooter, has some nice moves close to the basket as far as finishing at times. Although he's also, those are some of the positives. Although he's also sometimes he struggled as far as making not always the best decisions at times. We're still seeing some mental lapses from Reed on both ends of the court. A few times, got caught watching on defense, especially against the Pistons, sometimes coming over late, reacting late, committed a bad foul on the 3-pointer, made some careless passes at times, especially against the Pistons, just complaining to the officials a little too much. And not so much just complaining to the officials, but seeing it affect his play. Saw a play in this game where he threw up a terrible 3-pointer. He didn't get the foul call, and then there was a lot of time left on the shot clock. He just throws up a crazy shot. So it does still show. I mean, there's a lot of potential there. You listen to him wired up and mic'd up and talking to N'Faly Dante and talking to his teammates and being a leader on the floor, which we love. But then there's also still just a little too much complaining to the officials. And I understand he's trying to plead his case. And I don't have a problem with the talking. That's up to the referee as far as how much you can talk and as far as limiting it. So I get it, because we saw that earlier in the game against the Pistons. There was a call that he thought was missed, and then he got a little bit of a makeup call going back to the hole, where on a questionable, little bit of a light foul. So I understand Reed trying to work the refs, but I still want to see him play through it a little bit better when he doesn't get the calls. A lot more turnovers in this game against the Pistons. Some defensive struggles. Just kind of wondered, we'll see. I think we're going to see a little bit of a step forward from Reed this season, but we're going to see where the patience is. Still a lot of work to do. We'll see if he plays tonight against the Atlanta Hawks. I think that Reed should keep playing. I don't know if we've seen. I think it'll be good for him. I mean, obviously his place on this roster, Reed's going to definitely be on this roster, but I would like to see not so much just the shots. I mean, it's all 25 shots in game 1, 19 shots in game 2. Not so much just the shots, but just sound defense, locked in, strong decision making, not so many bad fouls, not so many turnovers, not so many mental lapses. I'd like to see Reed just a little bit more stable, because this team's not going to need, during the regular season, Reed Sheppard's not going to be someone that we need to score 28 points. We're going to need him to just come in there, play solid minutes, not turn the ball over, make the right play, knock down the shots when it comes to him. Now, in Reed's defense, I mean, the guys on the Pistons, the guys on the Clippers, even tonight against the this evening against the Atlanta Hawks, anytime guys are going up against Reed Sheppard, they're trying to make a name for himself. They're trying to make the team. They're picking him up full court. Reed showing some good flashes. So he's obviously someone that I will say that the offense around him, the way that this team looks offensively, some of the other pieces on the floor haven't helped Reed out a ton. And I want to talk about Cam Matthews here, who undrafted rookie out of Mississippi State. was the first undrafted rookie signed by the Rockets, signed to a contract after we mentioned the release of Nate Williams after the first summer league game. And Cam Matthews, strong athlete, 23 years old, a lot of college experience, one of the better defensive players in the nation, one of the best defenders in the SEC. Look, tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me what I'm not seeing. It's only 2 games. I get it. But this is Summer League, and guys have a short time to make an impression. We'll see. I think that he's someone that's probably going to be, that we're going to see in the G League, that's going to be around on this roster. But Cam Matthews, what I'm seeing right now is not a young man that he seems likable. He plays hard, but not someone who I think we're going to really be talking about during the regular season much. He doesn't look like a guy who can help this team right now, and I just think too much of an offensive liability right now. And I talked about Reed Shepard right now. Cam Matthews was somebody who's out there a lot and not helping to space the floor at all. When you look at 6'5.5" to 6'7", about 6'5.5", it looked like his draft measurables, some places listed as 6'7". You know how that goes. But looking at somebody who's 0 for 7 from the floor through the first 2 games, has scored 1 point through these first 2 games, averaging 4 rebounds, 1 assist, picking up 24 minutes a game. Just not, when he's driven to the basket, just not looking great on finishing with his shots. The times he had some open outside looks. Just hasn't really shown me much offensively. Looking like an offensive liability in the summer league. I think just too much of an offensive liability to see him being able to do anything during the regular season. Now we're saying this on July 13th, July 14th. We'll see what happens. But when you look at a guy who spent 5 years in college, not a great shooter, not a great offensive player, is probably never going to be. Not a great ball handler from what I'm seeing. I mean, he does play hard. He is focused defensively. But I'm just not overall impressed with what I'm seeing from Cam Matthews. And all these guys are great athletes. All these guys have played basketball at a high level, respect. But just not impressed personally with what we've seen out of Cam Matthews so far. And we'll see what happens as far as... obviously, he's been getting so many minutes. He's someone that is definitely getting a strong chance. But there's a lot of other guys that I would like to see play a little bit more. And we'll see what happens tonight. Or I shouldn't say tonight. Like I said, 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on Monday against the Atlanta Hawks. And this is an Atlanta Hawks team right now. Our Houston Rockets 0-2 so far for what it's worth. But Atlanta Hawks now 2-0 in the Summer League. Been one of the stronger performing Summer League teams that we've seen so far. And right now they got Kobe Buffkin so far leading the way, coming off of a strong 29-point game. Jacob Toppin has played well. Asa Newell's playing well. You've got, they're just overall, the Atlanta Hawks are going to pose a strong challenge for our Rockets today. But it's going to be a good challenge. Nikola Jurčić as well, playing very well for the Atlanta Hawks. And as we're looking at this matchup, there's some guys that I'd like to see a little bit more from. Obviously, we all want to see, Reed Shepard continue to make strides. Fally Dante, someone that I've talked about repeatedly. As far as long-term, obviously we have strong depth at the center position. You kind of wonder long-term, can he make maybe Clint Capella be a potential trade chip if he can play that role? Seen some good and bad out of him, but overall, he's been playing not the strongest performance that I'd like to see from N'Faly Dante. Not terrible, but he's had some times just defensively Just a lot of fouls, a little bit out of place, a little bit late. Um, 7 fouls in 19 minutes, and you could say, what are you talking about? 7 fouls, you only get 6. Well, in the summer league, you get 10. So he had a lot of showed some good and bad. He's been hustling, had some blocks, but a lot of fouls and things that I'm just looking at this from the standpoint. I'm trying to take what I'm seeing in the summer league and think about how it can help this team during the regular season. And I think in Fally Dante, someone that's still a project and not anything to where I see him in the immediate future jumping over Clint Capella or Steven Adams. Although I'm sure that some minutes will present themselves as I don't know if they're either one of those guys will be, 100% healthy the whole season, or if you really want to wear down Steven Adams too much during the regular season. Now, when we talk about guys that could potentially help this roster out, like I said, I'm a little underwhelmed with Cam Matthews, but Kevon Harris is a guy that I have been impressed with what I saw so far. Had a really nice play and lob to Infali Dante on an alley-oop in this game. He had 16 points, 6 for 12 from the floor, 1 for 5 from 3. He had 4 rebounds, 3 assists, no turnovers in the game against the in the loss to the Detroit Pistons, and it played a little bit better than he did in the first game, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from Harris. Now, the thing with Harris, 28 years old. He was the MVP of the G League Next Up game last season. And I think that if we're talking about guys who can help this team this season, obviously, if we're dependent on Kevon Harris too much, we're not going to be talking about a championship. But someone that I think is that 14th, 15th man that can play a few games this season, a few meaningful minutes, and contribute at times when guys are banged up. I do like what I'm seeing out of Harris so far. The maturity, I'm a lot more impressed overall than what I'm seeing with Cam Matthews. I definitely want to see more of him against the Atlanta Hawks. And, Adonis Arms, a guy that didn't get to play at all in the first game against the Clippers, and he definitely showed some energy, played hard, even though it was late against the Pistons. Someone I'd like to see a little bit more of. Now he's also 27 years old, so I understand as far as guys like that, if they can't help the team immediately, there's only going to stake so much of them for the future. Moses Brown, you kind of wonder with Moses Brown, how does the team feel about him? He hasn't played a whole lot of minutes, only 6 minutes against the Pistons, but he had 5 rebounds, just came in there grabbing boards right away. Is he someone that, obviously, Infali Dante is playing a lot more? Is Moses Brown, does he have a chance to, is he going to be around a little bit? Or have they already made a decision that they've seen enough for him and they like him? Or, is it going to not matter what he does? Because he's not playing a whole lot of minutes, but he has been hitting the boards in the time that he's been in there. Kennedy Chandler, I'd like to see a little bit more from him. He's had some times that haven't looked great, but, 22 years old. So when you look at some of the other guys on the team, especially, like I mentioned, even though I've been more impressed with Harris personally, Chandler's someone that, could possibly, especially with Nate Williams out, we'll see. I'd like to see what he can do I'd like to see a little bit more from him. Now, guys who haven't got to play too much as far as that personally impressed me, Chris Ledlam, like I said, Harvard man, transferred over to St. John's, played for Rick Pitino last season. I liked what I saw from him against the Detroit Pistons. I mean, only, looking at the box score, 2 for 3, 5 points, 6 rebounds in 12 minutes. Solid, doesn't really just jump out like crazy at 3 blocks. But, he played hard when he got in the game. A lot of it was late. Rockets were really, really sloppy in that, really, really sloppy in that first half of the game. We saw Reed Shepherd get off to a slow start, then he seemed to compose himself, and team started rallying, and then we saw some mental lapses and things like that. So far overall from this team, offense has looked a little bit. It hasn't been very cohesive. Been sloppy. Some mental lack of focus overall. Haven't looked good overall. Now this is just summer league, but we're talking about. Let me know in the comments, who do you think is going to be? How do you see who you see in the summer league that's going to most have the biggest impact on this roster? I'm assuming you're going to say Reed Shepherd. I get it. After Reed Shepherd, and you may disagree, if you think that there's someone who can make a bigger impact than Reed Shepherd on this summer league team, when we get into the regular season, let me know. But after Reed Shepherd, I have to say, for me personally, I like what I'm seeing from Harris. I think that even at 28 years old, I do like what I'm seeing from him. He's definitely been a pleasant surprise. Cam Matthews, hey, we like to see it again. I know he's somebody who's not going to shoot the ball a lot. As I mentioned, with that NCAA tournament loss, over 30 minutes impacted the game. Didn't make a field goal. So I understand that he's that type of guy, Cam Matthews, that's not going to affect the game offensively. But man, I'd like to see a little bit more, just a little bit more. I mean, he's out there. I'm just not impressed personally so far. So let me know if there's any other guys on the roster that you'd like to see a little bit more of against the Atlanta Hawks, as we go into this game against really one of the deeper teams, one of the best teams in the summer league so far. Can the Rockets get a win? Way the Rockets have been playing so far, see the Rockets are a 3.5-point underdog. For what it's worth, I'd say that the Atlanta Hawks probably win this game based off of what I've seen so far. If I had to give a prediction, by at least 7 points today, but hopefully I'm wrong with that. But like I said, it is just summer league, so the wins and losses aren't really the most important thing. Well, they don't really mean anything, but definitely want to see some progress. So those are just some of my thoughts so far about the summer league. Like I said, Reed, a lot of good, a lot of bad, all of that stuff. Let me know what you guys think so far. Who have you been most impressed with so far? More minutes for Chris Ledlum tonight. That's what I definitely want to go ahead and see. Composure, less turnovers from Reed Shepherd. And Falidante being in position at the right time, being able to make those blocks and not so many fouls. And, Cam Matthews, man, I want to just see let's keep that defensive effort, but a little bit more of a solid game all around. And, we'll see what else happens there. Like even some more guys on the roster that we're not even talking about who haven't seen those minutes, because the thing here with the summer league, but against the Pistons, I mean, Danis Jenkins was the best player on the floor. And, when you look at that as a guy who's only gotten into 7 regular season games, still a lot of work to do. So I'd like to see somebody on the Rockets be, the best player on that floor. Jenkins, Ledlum's former college teammate. So, yeah, man, let's get some more minutes from Chris Ledlum as well. I'm going to stop rambling now. Rockets Daily, I will see you guys tomorrow. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Any other topics you guys would like to talk about. What do you guys see so much from the Summer League, man? A lot of great basketball minds out there. I'm talking about you guys. Let me know what you think. God bless. Let's have a great day.